So the first school day becomes particularly of importance in a family as a milestone, particularly for children who are either going to preschool for the first time or kindergarten for the first time. There's a lot of expectation built around that and a lot of anxiety around that. It's the first time the child is going to be outside the purview of the parents, and there is nervousness about what that might mean for the child and whether they'll handle that independence well enough. On the other hand, it's also the first opportunity for the child to gain that independence where they are not always doing what the parent is expecting them to do, but they have a chance to explore their own interests, their own social interactions, and experience that in a way that is unique to them. It is very, very common for a parent, when they're putting the child on the school bus, to have a mix of emotions. There'll be a lot of discussions about first day of school, what I'm going to wear, what the backpack is going to be, who am I going to meet. And it's important for parents to engage in these discussions before school. It helps to cut down on the anticipatory anxiety that the children might have. Young children like to have certainty, and the more that you can provide some explanation about what their school day might entail, the more comfortable they will be walking into that new or novel situation. With younger kids who are in preschool, and particularly toddlers, you still may be dealing with developmental separation anxiety, and that can be difficult on a parent. I went through this myself with my own kids when we dropped them off at daycare. And for anyone who's gone through this, you experience the crying and the clinging and all the emotional drama that occurs when you're trying to drop off your child at daycare or preschool, and you, on the other hand, have commitments to try to get to work. And the question often comes up, what is the best way to handle that? And am I somehow permanently psychologically scarring my child by sending them to preschool? The message that always gets sent across to the parent after the fact by the providers is that 5 minutes after you left, they were fine. They were engaged in their activities, they were doing things with their friends, but it's one thing to hear it and it's another thing to see it, and parents never get to see that. But what they're telling you is true, and the issue with separation anxiety developmentally is not about being separate from the parent, is the act of separation that is anxiety provoking. And so it is those moments when you're doing the drop-off that, if you handle them well, will help that child transition better to preschool or daycare and make it more comfortable for you as well. So there's a few hints that can be very helpful for parents in doing that. The first is trust the staff you're working with and let them help guide you through it, and utilize them when you're doing the drop-off to help move that child into the classroom. Don't take it upon yourself to be the person who makes that transition entirely. You want to introduce the child, say, here's your teacher, here are your friends, why don't we go usher you in to play with your friends so you can do their activities as well. The second is to make your transitions routine, brief, personal, and emotionally neutral. So, the habit would be to drop off when you're dropping off your child, to say, here's your lunch, here's your teacher, what are you going to do today? It looks like you're going to do this. That sounds great. And I love you. Have a great day, and I will see you at the end of the day. It's important to remind the children that you are going to see them at the end of the day. Sometimes they get scared that no one's going to be there to pick them up. It's obviously not a reality, but young children don't always separate fantasy from reality, and that can drive it. So a simple reassurance that you will be there at the end of the day to pick them up and hear how great their day was will go a long way. And then, whether they're crying or not crying, utilize your staff again to help transition you. A wave, eye contact, I will see you later, have a great day, and then leave. And make your leaving a definitive leave. If you keep coming back, or the more time that you spend hemming and hawing, the more anxious your child's going to get. So a clean break is a good break. You'll notice that I said you shouldn't just disappear unnoticed from your child. If they suddenly get engaged in a toy and then they turn around and you're not there, that can be distressing to the child. So it is important to make sure that you acknowledge that you're leaving and that they're going to have a good day.